Amazing. Amazing to see everybody today. We will begin in Shavasana, as I mentioned. So we lay flat on our backs. I just want you to get relaxed. Remember, in yoga, we have to really try to leave everything else that's going on in the world outside of our space. When we come onto our yoga mats, we're trying to focus just on how we're feeling, our body, right? If we have any muscle aches, our mind, are we full of all of these thoughts? Are we having a really difficult time trying to stop our thinking? Or can we focus? Can we be present? The act of being here right now, not worried about anything that happened before, not worrying about what you're going to be doing later, just focusing on right now. A really good way to do this is to accept any of the noises that you hear around you, acknowledge that they're there, and then just listen to my voice. Listen to the music. Try to get your body to become still. Any of that fidgeting that we've got going on, see if we can just still keep everything right on your mat, becoming quiet. Good. Taking those big, deep breaths. Big, deep breaths. In and out through our nose. And as we're laying just flat on our backs, I want you to notice your shoulders melting into the floor, your head completely flat on the ground, nose pointing straight up to the ceiling. Legs are out long. And your rib cage is just moving up and down as we're breathing in and out. What we're doing when we're practicing this stillness and this breathing is we are allowing ourselves to stop being distracted. We're allowing our brain to clean up a little bit, make room for more perspective, a little bit more creativity, better ability to think through things. It also calms our nervous system, allowing us to become more relaxed, which is what I'm hoping all of you can do right now, is just be a little bit more relaxed. Now, while we're laying here, legs are straight. Go ahead and reach those arms long up over our head. Whether the arms touch the ground or whether they're still up a little bit towards the ceiling, just open up through the shoulders. Maybe we want to hold our hands, or perhaps we hold either elbow, really opening up those shoulders, the rib cage, noticing bigger, deeper breaths as we've expanded the space with our lungs can just get a little bit bigger. Let's take one more big inhale here. And then exhale, release those arms down. And I want everybody to gather your knees into your chest. So as you give yourself a nice big hug, we're holding our knees either on our shins or our thighs. We'll just take that gentle rock right to left, like giving ourselves a lower back massage. Keeping a hold of our knees, go ahead and just roll those ankles, releasing any cricks and cracks, encouraging lots of good circulation all the way down to our toes. Keeping a hold of your right knee, go ahead and extend that left leg all the way down to the ground. Firmly press the left leg into the mat as we open that right knee out towards your right shoulder. Now, at this point, I want to ask everybody how we're doing across the shoulders. Are we feeling tense? Are we able to bring the shoulders down into the mat? Slowly drawing the knee over towards that left shoulder now. Squeezing that leg still in towards the body. We may feel a little bit of a stretch along the outside of our right hip. Slow our breathing. Inhale, draw that knee into the body. And exhale, release down. We'll repeat that on the other side as we draw the left knee into the chest. Open that knee out towards the left shoulder, firmly pressing that right leg down into the mat. Notice how this left side feels now. Are we feeling anything along the inner thigh? Are we still able to keep our shoulders down into the mat? Then cross the knee over towards your right shoulder. Feeling maybe some pinching in the hip flexor or a little bit of pulling along the outside of our left hip. Notice what that feels like. And drawing that knee in, lower all the way down. Taking our feet flat onto the floor, we're going to do a few glute bridges to really activate the hips and hope to stretch through the front of the hips just a little bit. Hands are down by our sides. Let's take our first breath in, lift your hips up, pressing down through all four corners of your feet. Exhale, slowly lower. Control with your strong abdominal muscles. Inhale, squeeze your glutes, lift your hips up, press down through both shoulders. Exhale, slow lower, one vertebrae at a time. We'll do this twice more. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, releasing down. And last time, inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Amazing. Slowly take our time as we come over and up onto hands and knees, finding ourselves in table. Tabletop position, we bring those hands directly underneath our shoulders, spread your fingers, pull your belly buttons in, make sure your shoulders are really nice and strong. Finding our spinal balance, we extend our right arm front, our left leg back, and lower down, working opposite arm and leg. Inhale, left arm, right leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale, right. Exhale. Inhale, left. Exhale, how's your balance today? Inhale, right. Exhale, one more time. Inhale, left. Exhale. Now from here, we'll do a little thoracic mobility work. Finding your right arm, bring that hand up right beside your head. And take a big inhale, open that elbow up to the ceiling. And exhale, draw the elbow towards your other. Inhale, open. Exhale. Now, what's your range of motion like today? Inhale, do we have lots of control? Exhale, lower. Two more. Inhale, up, nice and slow. Exhale, working through those shoulders. Inhale, lift last time. Exhale, release. Take the hand down, belly buttons in nice and tight. Left hand to side of head, big inhale, open towards the ceiling. Exhale, release down. Inhale, open. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale, two more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, last time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Taking tabletop, adjust the hands if we need to, finding cows and cats. We inhale, untuck the tailbone, open through the neck, looking front. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, pull the bellies in, cuff the shoulders up as we tuck the chin in. Inhale, untuck the tailbone, looking forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, ground the back. Really press the shoulders away. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Such an amazing stretch for the backs, for the abs. Inhale, open last time. Exhale, rounding up. From here, holding table, preparing for thread the needle. Take a big thoracic mobility reach that our right arm comes all the way up. Inhale. Now exhale, thread underneath your left arm, trying to get down as low as you're able to. Some of us will be able to come down onto the shoulder. We can take that left arm forward. Just listen to the body. Explore how the stretch feels today. Stretching through that right arm, in through the upper back, into that shoulder. Taking both hands up, finding yourself in table. Nice big inhale, lift that left arm high. Exhale, thread underneath your right arm, laying into your left shoulder if you're able to. Making any adjustments you need to really stretch through those shoulders. All right, slowly coming back up into tabletop, pressing back into child's pose. We can have your knees a little bit wide if that helps. Sink your hips low into your heels, reach your arms forward, and then try to drop the forehead down. Let's take a few slow, deep breaths. Checking in. Are we able to stay focused? Or are we wandering all over the place? If we're wandering, just ask yourself why and see if you can connect your thoughts to your mat. Let's see if we can really work on that attention. Preparing for down dog. Go ahead and anchor those hands. Really ground your fingers into the mat. Curl your toes and now lift those hips up nice and high. Now this is your first down dog, so there's going to be a lot of stuff happening. Feel free to keep your knees plenty bent. Pressing away from those hands. Pull the shoulders back. Go ahead and shake your head no. We want lots of space between shoulders and ears. Nod the head yes. Now keep looking back at your feet. Keep your shoulders strong. Pedal the feet, right to left foot as we walk the dog in place. Stretching through the Achilles, the calf muscle up the back. Massaging through the arches, the toes of the feet. We're going to come into a crouching or kneeling down dog series where we'll do a little bit of heel raises. So if we can keep our feet flat now, go ahead and take an inhale, rise way up high on your tippy toes. Now as you bend your knees, exhale, try to touch your knees almost to the floor, almost. Inhale, lift your hips up. Now drop your heels towards the ground, exhale. So it's a 4 count series. Let's do it again. Inhale, rise up onto your tippy toes. Bend your knees, exhale, hovering above the mat. Hips down nice and low. Inhale, lift your hips up nice and high, tippy toes. Exhale, drop your heels down towards the floor. Try that again. Inhale, up onto your tippy toes. Exhale, bend your knees, hovering above the mat in that crouching down dog. Inhale, lift your hips up nice and high. Exhale, drop those heels a little bit closer. Watch your shoulders. One more time. Inhale, lift high up onto your tippy toes. Exhale, crouch. Inhale, lift up nice and high. Exhale, slowly lower down. Amazing. From here, forward into plank. Adjust if you need to. We can take the knees to the floor as we lower the body, chaturanga. That slow control lower. And then hands come back by the ribs. Abs are tight as we lift up for cobra. Whether it's baby or full, just holding this for a couple of breaths. Nice big stretch for those abdominal muscles. Lengthening down our backs as well. Pressing back into down dog or child's pose, whichever felt better. Holding for just a couple of breaths. Noticing how those positions have changed. Noticing what we're feeling. Let's slowly start to walk our hands and feet together. We'll come up halfway into that monkey stretch. Pull your shoulder blades in nice and tight. Belly buttons are really pulling up towards the backs. Slight bend in the knees as we touch our shins or our thighs. Just aware of your posture. Are we squeezing the shoulders in the back? Are we keeping our necks long? Softening those knees. Big inhale, sweep the arms up tall. And exhale, release the arms down. Amazing. At this point, if you'd like to grab a quick drink, feel free to do so. We are going to go through a little bit of a sun salutation series involving warrior poses. Okay, so we're at the top of our mat in Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet are roughly hips width distance apart. Soft knees as we pull up from all 4 corners of the feet. So big toes, little toes, inner and outer edges of the heels. Roll those shoulders down, palms face forward. Tadasana or mountain pose. We feel grounded, we feel tall, we feel strong, we feel sturdy. From here, I want us to inhale. Lift our arms up above our head. Now exhale, swan dive, hinging at our hips, down into forward fold. Come halfway up to monkey, big inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping just your left foot back into a crescent lunge. Left toes are on the ground. We keep the right knee bent as we lift the arms up. Maybe some of us keep the hands on the ground. Some of us will be able to lift the arms up nice and tall. Open through that left hip flexor. Good, one more big inhale. Exhale, release the hands down. Take your time, sweeping that right leg all the way up into 3-legged dog. Some of us will be able to keep it straight. Some of us will have to bend the knee, that's okay. Trying to press that left heel down to the floor. From here, take that right leg, sweep it all the way back up in between your hands. Repeating crescent lunge. Lift those arms up when you're able to. Now, crescent lunge, you've got your right knee bent at about 90 degrees. That back leg, you want to squeeze your muscles to keep the legs straight. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, sweep the hands down. Help that left leg step all the way forward, coming up halfway into monkey. Bend your knees, big inhale, lift up. Now exhale, sit into chair pose. We're going to repeat that on the left leg. Ready? Big inhale, lift up. Exhale, swan dive all the way down, forward fold. Come halfway up to monkey. Find your posture, back is parallel with the mat. Exhale, release. Stepping just your right foot back behind us. Lift those arms up when you're able to. I love crescent lunge, checking our balance. Opening up that back hip for sure. Taking one more big inhale. Exhale, release that leg. Sweeping all the way up into three-legged dog. Trying to keep your hips and your shoulders square to the mat. Such an amazing stretch, especially if we can get that right heel down towards the floor, stretching all the way up that leg. Looking up between our hands, inhale, sweep the knee up. Help the knee get right above your ankle. As we lift those arms nice and high, crescent lunge. Try to squeeze that thigh muscle, activate that hip flexor to open. Inhale. Exhale, release the hands down. Step that right foot to the front of your mat, coming halfway up to monkey. Soften your knees. Inhale, sweep those arms up nice and high. Exhale, chair. Adding on, inhale, lift up. Exhale, swan dive all the way down, hinging at your hips. Inhale, halfway up to monkey. Exhale, release into fold. This time, step just your left foot into warrior one. So our feet are about hip-width distance apart, completely flat on the ground. Right knee is bent as you walk up your thigh. Pull in your bellies as we lift those arms up. Shoulders come down. So shoulders down, rib cage tight, belly's in, feet are perfectly flat on the floor. That left foot may be a little bit turned out, stretching through that Achilles, that calf muscle up the back as we press that heel firmly into the mat. Getting ready for pyramid. Straightening out that leg, hands come to the front thigh. We slowly walk down the leg, keeping both hips and shoulders square to your right foot. As soon as you feel a stretch, we stop. We want to keep our back long, keep it flat. We can bring our hands down. Slow breath. We're feeling a stretch up that hamstring into your hip, trying to keep the backs nice and flat. Softening the knee as we slowly walk our hands down. Sweep that right foot back to plank this time. And from plank, we'll press back into down dog. Try to press those heels down into the floor or towards the floor, long through the neck. Take an inhale into plank. We're going to come into a half series. Exhale, slow lower. Inhale, scoop up for cobra. Long neck, shoulders down away from our ears. Inhale, press back, down dog or child's pose. Walking our hands and feet together. Coming up halfway to monkey. Softening our knees, big inhale, lift up. Exhale, chair pose. And one more time, big inhale, lift. Exhale, swan dive, hinging at your hips, flat back as we come into forward fold. Inhale, halfway up to monkey. Exhale, forward fold. Softening the knees as we step our right foot back to warrior one. Short stance, feet are hips-width distance apart. Bend your left knee. Both feet are flat on the floor as we walk up. Adjust your feet if you need to. That right heel is pressing into the ground. Arms come up nice and tall, shoulders are down. Really making sure the back leg is straight. Squeeze that muscle, open up the hip a little bit. Press your heel down firmly into the mat. Straighten out the leg as we prepare for pyramid. Hand comes down. Keep both shoulders, both hips square to the front. That means we're not twisting, we're not opening. We're working on nice straight lines as we slide down that front leg. Whether we stay on our thigh, our shin, the foot, or come to the floor, there's no right answer. There's no right way to do the pose. The only thing we're worried about is keeping our body in really nice neutral lines. Keeping both shoulders equal distance from the floor. Same with your hips. If we imagined measuring from the floor to your right hip bone, and then measuring from the floor to your left hip bone, they should measure the same. Softening that knee, taking your hands down, sweeping your left foot back behind, pressing back into down dog or child's pose. Preparing for our next half series. We'll inhale forward into plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, pressing back. Slowly walking hands and feet together. Coming up halfway to monkey. Softening our knees, big inhale, lift up. Exhale, chair. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, release. Nicely done, everybody. Very nice. From here, we are going to be taking ourselves back down to the mat. So if anyone needs to have a drink of water, now is the time to do it. And when you're ready, we'll bring ourselves just to the top of our mat, finding a very strong Tadasana, mountain pose. Ready, soft knees. Let's take a big inhale, reach those arms up nice and high. Exhale, swan dive, hinging at our hips all the way down into forward fold. This time in forward fold, see if we can straighten out our legs just a little bit more. Bringing our hands down towards our feet, maybe touching the legs, touching the floor. Slowly grounding the hands by bending your knees, stepping back into plank. From here, we'll take our chaturanga, slow lower. Good, now we need to work on stretching through the front of our hips and the front of our shoulders, and we're going to do that doing our half bow. What we'll do is keep our left hand underneath our shoulder. As we bend our right knee, we grab our right ankle with our right hand. So we're working with the same arm as leg, keeping the knee within your body's frame. So we don't want it to wander off of our mat. Keep it within our mat. We're going to keep both hips and both shoulders facing the mat equally. Squeeze your abs. Start lifting up through your chest, pressing down through your left hand. We push our right foot in against our right hand, which allows a really amazing stretch through that right thigh, the front of our hip, a little bit through our shoulder. Just keep pressing that foot in against the hand. Gives us a little bit more activation as we take one final inhale and exhale, slow release. Preparing for the other side. We take that left knee and bend it. Left hand grabs the left ankle or pant leg, whatever you can grab. Keep that knee within your body's frame. Roll the shoulders together as we press down through your right hand. Push that left foot in against the hand, causing the thigh to lift up. So we're not just lifting the foot up. We want to keep your hip bones pressing down into the ground as we press that foot up, stretching that thigh and the shoulder. One more inhale. Exhale, relax. Hands come under the shoulders or ribs. Pull the shoulder blades together as we come up into cobra. See if we can get a little bit higher each time we do cobra. A little bit longer. All right, slowly coming back onto I shouldn't say back because we're coming onto the stomach again. Getting ready for scorpion, an amazing shoulder stretch, working through the front of the shoulder into your chest and bicep muscles. We'll start by taking our right arm out to the side. Left hand comes underneath our left shoulder. So we've got our left elbow bent, our right arm straight. Taking both legs and bend them. We'll slowly roll over that right arm. Now, some of us will come just a little bit. Others will be able to come a lot. You may notice that it feels good to have just your left knee bent, maybe your right leg out straight. Perhaps you are able to keep both knees bent with your feet on the floor, trying to get them up towards the ceiling. Notice if you like lifting your head up, looking towards the ceiling, or if you'd rather keep it down on the mat. Really play with this as we stretch through the front of that right arm. Taking one more inhale here. Exhale, slowly lower and release that. Taking that left arm out. Right hand is now underneath your shoulder. You can bend just your right knee or you can bend both. Go ahead and roll over that left arm. Trying to get both feet on the ground. And you'll notice that one side may be different from the other. Maybe you have to be a little bit more careful on one arm and not push quite so far. This is all your own body's control, stretching through just like a cactus against the wall. Taking one more inhale here. Exhale, slowly lower onto your stomach. Take your time. If you moved or wiggled on your mat, just finding that neutral space as we bring our hands underneath the shoulders or ribcage one final time, lifting up for cobra. Pull those shoulder blades together, long neck. And then press back into child's pose. We're going to stay in child's pose for a moment, making sure we're feeling quite comfortable, resting that head down as low as we can get it today. Preparing for our lat stretch, stretching the side of the body as we walk our hands over to the right edge of the mat. Take that left hand on top. I like to interlace my fingers and then really pull away, stretching the entire left side of the body, particularly down past that left shoulder, maybe even into the left hip. Slowly walking the hands through the middle over to the left edge. We can take that right hand on top as we pull away and down into that right side of the body. Slow, deep breaths to encourage that relaxation response. Walking through the middle. Take our time as we come up through tabletop, sweeping our legs around so we can bring them straight out in front of us. Sitting up nice and tall, making sure that we're comfortable, we're able to continue. We're going to do a few different forward folds, targeting the back of the leg, but also through the backs, the lower backs, right where they meet the hips. So I want you to pay attention to where your hips and your back meet. We'll start by taking the right foot, taking the sole of the foot in against the thigh, and then allowing that right knee just to open up into a butterfly. Now, normally when this happens, we all just have a tendency to kind of open towards that bent knee. It's easier, but see how then I'm slouching? So what we need to do is keep that left leg completely out straight in front of us. Hips are down. We're going to slowly walk over top of that leg, keeping both right and left hands equal and even. Now, as we do this, to really target the hip and the back, I want you to press that right knee down into the floor just a little bit more. And notice if you're feeling any stretch up that right side of your back into the hip. Nice and slow. Try to take a couple extra big exhales. Maybe we can even bring our body down just a little bit lower. And slowly roll up. Now keep your legs where they are, because now I'm going to ask us to take the left leg out into a straddle split. Leave your right knee where it is unless it's uncomfortable. You can bring it open just a little bit more if that feels better. Still targeting the right hip up through the back, but now we're going to introduce the inside of the left thigh as well. Maybe a little groin stretch. Really tall. Let's keep the toe pointing up to the ceiling. The left knuckles are going to graze the inside of the leg as we open that right arm to the ceiling. Feels amazing, doesn't it? Now, same thing, I want you to imagine pressing that right knee down just a little bit more firmly into the mat, getting an amazing stretch up through the back into the hip of that right side. Notice your right shoulder as it's opened. We're not letting it collapse in. Really rotate it open. If that's bothering you today, just take your hand on your hip. Keep it open, and that left arm is just light as we're just a gentle stretch through the groin, the inside of that left leg. Take a couple more breaths. And slowly working our way up. Amazing. Let's take both feet in together, butterfly. Soles of feet press. Hands come onto the ankles as we sit up ever so tall. Hinging forward, flat back. We can keep our elbows tucked in or use them to open the knees just a little bit more, and then tuck that chin if we're able to. Great way to stretch through the upper back into the neck. Keep opening up through the inside of our hips. And then slowly rolling up. Great job. Just help those legs together as we straighten them both out again. We're going to repeat that series now with the left leg in butterfly. So double check that you're happy on your mat. Taking your left foot, so the sole of the foot is pressing in against your right thigh. Again, if you notice that you just opened up or twisted, see if you're able to get your hips and your shoulders square to the front. Pressing that left knee down, both hands are on either side of that front right leg. Go ahead and walk your hands forward. Some of us, this may be a very short walk. Some of us, this will be a long walk. Keep pressing that left hip down, the left knee into the floor. Stretching behind the knee of that right leg. And really, for me, I'm feeling a lot through the left hip into the back. That's where I'm focusing. If we focus our breath, focus our energy, focus our thinking on a specific body part during a stretch, research shows that it does become more effective in actually stretching that part of our body. So I want you to pay attention as we breathe. And slowly come up. Keep your legs where they are. And now helping that right leg open into a straddle split. Watch that you didn't just come off your bum. Keep your sits bones on the ground. Sits bones are those two pointy bones right on the bottom of our bum that kind of look like little U's. So we want to sit right on top of them, keeping that right heel up, right knuckles along the inside of the leg. We open that left arm, really reach it nice and tall. Notice if your shoulder collapsed. Open that shoulder, reach up to the ceiling, trying to really imagine pressing that left leg down just a little bit more to get a really great response of that left hip in through the lower back. Slow, deep breath. Big inhale, lift up. Good, taking that right foot in, we'll do one more butterfly. This time in our butterfly, we're going to turn it into turtle. So we've got our legs in butterfly, just walk those feet out a little bit farther in front of us. Turtle allows us to focus on the outside of the hips instead. So if we can take our hands into the middle, kind of like putting your hands in the basket, bring them underneath your legs now. Some of us will be able to come quite low. Others will have to stay up a little bit higher. Listen to your body. Try to press your knees open. Keep your forearms flat on the floor if you're able to. And then as you hinge your body forward, see if we can get our nose towards our toes. Maybe dropping the head again. Stretching the upper back as we target the outside of our hips. Slow your breathing. And slowly coming up. Bring our arms under those legs, lifting them up, helping your legs together. From here, we're going to be lowering ourselves all the way down onto our backs. Take your time, however you need to get down there. Slowly roll down, and then I'll encourage you to grab the knees into the chest, giving yourself another big hug. Rocking those knees side to side. How's that feel? Does it feel like we've massaged out the knots? Are we aware of anything else that we're now feeling through the backs or through the hips? Taking our feet down to the ground, I want us to bring that right leg up to the ceiling, holding the thigh or the calf as we start to roll through the ankle, noticing lots, maybe through the calf muscle or the shin, perhaps even through the foot. As we stretch that hamstring, continuing to draw the shin towards the face. Everyone will look different. Keeping your shoulders as relaxed as possible. Taking one more inhale. And exhale, release that foot down. Take the left knee in, hugging onto that thigh or shin as we straighten out the leg, and go ahead and just roll that ankle. So I noticed immediately that I'm feeling a lot more sensation on this leg, particularly through the outside of my shin into my calf. What are you feeling? Are you noticing anything? Any tightness, any differences, anything the same? One more inhale. Exhale, release. Taking our arms out to the side, we're going to come into our spinal twist next. Lifting both knees up about 90 degrees. We take an inhale at the top. Now exhale, lower the knees towards the right. When they come down to the floor or as close as they're going to get, let's try to really keep both shoulders pressing into the mat. You can hold on to your leg as you look over that left arm. Another great stretch for the chest, through the rib cage into the hips, maybe feeling a stretch through that lower back. Inhale, lifting both knees up to the middle. Exhale, lowering over to the left. And as the legs come into position, try to relax as we look over that right arm, keeping both shoulders pressing into the floor. Again, we'll notice a stretch across that right chest, maybe down that right rib cage into the back or in through the hip. Lifting those legs up. And then taking the feet down to the ground. While we're here, you may want to butterfly the knees open or windshield wiper the legs side to side. At this point, we are going to come into our meditation. If there's anything else that you need to move around and kind of fiddle with before we get into our relaxed position, maybe there's a sweater or a blanket that you've got nearby if you're feeling like your body temperature has already started to cool, feel free to put that blanket on or wrap that sweater around you. Taking our legs into position, I'll recommend Shavasana. In Shavasana, we want those legs to open a little bit, as wide as the mat, no wider. Toes have turned out. The arms can be on our belly or down by our sides. Palms can face up to the ceiling. As we relax the shoulders, and try to just balance our head right on that flat part of the skull. Now, as we continue to stay here, I want you just to see how relaxed your body can become. How relaxed can your body become in Shavasana? Are you able to let your shoulders melt into the ground? Are you able to relax through your abdomen, your stomach? Are you able to stay without fidgeting? If you notice that your hands are fidgeting, maybe you need to clasp them together, interlacing your fingers and just letting them come on top of your belly. What I want us to do is really practice just listening to the body. And with this meditation today, we're going to be doing a body scan. So now that we're relaxed, we're going to be tightening up one body part at a time and then letting go. Completely laying flat, completely laying flat. I want us to start with our feet. So go ahead and just crunch your toes. Scrunching your toes, squeezing your feet. Take one big inhale, exhale, relax. Now I want you to come up your legs and coming into your calf muscles. Go ahead and squeeze those calf muscles. You might need to flex your feet or point your toes. See what you can do to squeeze those calves. One big inhale, exhale, relax. Now we're coming up past the knees into your thighs. Can you squeeze your thigh muscles? Really squeeze them, tighten your legs, tighten your legs. Big inhale, exhale, relax. Feel the whole body melt. We're coming up into your hips. We're gonna have to squeeze our glutes. See if you can squeeze and tighten your bum muscles, kind of flexing through your hips. One big inhale, exhale, relax. Coming up through the torso. I want everyone to flex your abs, give yourself a six-pack, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Draw your belly buttons in, tighten your rib cage, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Big inhale, exhale, relax. Coming up through your chest and shoulders. I want you to bring your shoulders up into your ears. Scrunch those shoulders, scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. Bring them up to your ears, tighten, tighten, tighten. Big inhale. Exhale, relax. Feel the weight melting off your shoulders. Coming down into your arms. I want you to flex your biceps. You might need to draw your hands in towards your shoulders to really flex your biceps. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Big inhale. Exhale, relax. We're coming down into your forearms and your hands. I need you to clench your fist. Clench your fist as tight as you've ever clenched before. Squeeze those fingers, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Tighten up your wrist and your forearms. Big inhale. Exhale, relax. Last but not least, we're coming up into the neck and the face. I want you to make the scrunchiest face you've ever made before. Squeeze your eyelids, scrunch your nose up, squeeze your lips. You might need to purse your lips or squeeze your jaw. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. One more big inhale. Exhale, relax. Now just take a couple slow breaths. We should feel calm. We should feel a little bit like Jello, just a little bit loose, a little bit melty on the ground right now. We're weightless. We've surrendered to the mat. We've given ourselves permission to relax. We have nowhere to be, nothing to do. Our goal, our only intention right now is to lay still, allow our bellies to rise and fall with our big deep breaths, to feel like our heart rate's slowing down. Maybe our body's feeling a little bit cooler. Maybe we're feeling more relaxed. I want us to slowly start to wiggle our fingers and toes. Maybe give our wrists and ankles a little bit of a roll. And take your time as you slowly come up to sitting. And as we sit, we're going to do just one final stretch together, finishing off the stretch through the neck into the top of the shoulders before we say our final goodbye. Taking a comfortable seated position, whatever that may look like. For me today, it's going to be easy seated pose, crisscross, palms coming up. We'll start by just sitting really nice and tall, taking our right ear and drop it towards that right shoulder. If it helps, we can press that left arm away. Notice if we need to change the position of the neck or the head at all in order to get a really nice stretch of that left side of the shoulder into the neck. And relax that. Good. And then as we continue to sit up tall, let's drop the left ear towards the left shoulder. If it feels good, we can press that right arm away. One more inhale. Exhale, release. Good. Go ahead and just give those shoulders a little bit of a roll. Maybe move through the neck just a little bit. So I hope everybody enjoyed our yoga class today. Did a lot of stretching, focusing on abs, back, shoulders, and hips, a little bit through the calf and the feet. Please make sure you're drinking lots of water and you're giving yourself permission to just relax a little bit longer if you need to. What I'd like to do is say thank you